in a second. So like the Timberwolves are so upsetting as a team, man. They they made so many mental basketball mistakes. D'Angelo Russell actually had a better game in Game Six, but for most of the series he was kind of like absent. But he had a decent Game Six.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns is here and there. I'm gonna let you go and get on that Karl Anthony Towns, man. You go ahead.
So I remember watching Karl Anthony Towns at Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Being a post player, dominating, back to the basket. Like, he was bigger than everyone, dominating, right?
Mm-hmm.
More overall pick. Oh, we see he can do other stuff. He can jump, he can shoot, he can handle. Like, okay, cool. My thing with Karl Anthony Towns in this, and we saw it a lot in the series, is that, hey, you're 7 feet, you can shoot. We get it. And, I'm not saying don't shoot threes. I'm not saying don't shoot jump shots. But you're taking up so much space on the perimeter when you could be posting up these smaller guys, getting down low, drawing fouls, kicking it out, and allow so much more spacing for the Minnesota offense. Whereas you catch the ball in the middle, top of the key, you're trying to post, trying to bang, and it's easier for them to put a smaller guy on you because they can laterally move quicker compared to like banging down low on them. And it's making it harder for you to score, making it harder for your team to like get useful possessions. And I just don't like that like mentality of, oh, let me stand up at the top because I'm the guy. I'm gonna take it and do whatever. I feel like that he could be a lot more consecutive in his play if he just took a few possessions to not be at the top taking up space. That's my only problem with him. Not as a player. I think he's very skilled, great shooter, and when he wants to, he can. Well, back in the day in Kentucky, he played in the post, but that's my only thing. But with Minnesota, they're a young team, just getting back to the playoffs, and the issue is that they would be up 10, 12, 15, 20 points, right? But they don't know how to close. They're just letting up at the end. Memphis came back. Memphis had some of the biggest comebacks I've ever seen in the playoffs in this series. And it's because these guys, they get up, they get comfortable, they take their foot off the gas, and here comes Memphis, and they went and take the game, take the series. So what Minnesota has to do going forward, and I think they can be better. D'Angelo Russell, like you said, showed up in that game. I feel like he had some sparks. He didn't have probably the best series, but I feel like they had to build up their chemistry a little bit more. And Cat and Ant have to figure out alpha and beta, because I feel like when Cat had it going in one of those games I was watching, he was knocking down every single shot, every time he touched the ball, and he shot the ball. It was cash. And then Ant came back in the game late, and he was taking shots, missed, gets another ISO, misses, turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, why would you? I get it. Like, he's great. He had a great first playoffs as well. But when you got this guy who is hot and he's, you're for the most part winning the game, and then you bring the other guy in, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna take over now. It's like, why? Because you mess up the flow of the offense. He's already got it going, and then why would I go away from what's working? And I feel like that's just young mistakes that they really have to patch up. But overall, they'll be better with the experience. Just same way with Memphis. I think that Memphis made some mistakes down the line in today's game, but I think they have potential to win the series. And I know it's the Warriors. I know how great they are, and this is a hard one for me to pick, but I actually am rooting for Memphis in this series. Okay. And if they don't win it, it's fine. But I'm rooting for them. I want them to do this because I like the grind and the energy they play with. Golden State is, as we know, they are who they are. They are Megatron. But I'm going to go Memphis, and I'm going to go Memphis at 7. I think this is going to come down to the very end. Regardless of who wins it, it's going to. I think this is a 7-game series for sure. And I hope Memphis takes it, bro. I just like the way they play. They just have to get experience. That's all they're lacking. And I feel like they matched up pretty well for the most part in this game. Just have to, execute. Especially when you get Draymond out the game in the second quarter. So that'll be better.
Yeah, that call was terrible. Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with a lot of what you said. You see all this talking that was going on in the game? All the smack talk. Like,
yeah.
You got to be able to put action behind your words. I agree. They do need to figure out who is the alpha. Okay? Because a lot of times it was Anthony Edwards taking those shots in the end of the games. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this too. Maybe part of it is personality. Because remember that one game in the series, Cat only shot like how many shots? Like 9. It was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's that. Is it coaching scheme? Is it the coach? Is it mindset from Cat? Is it? I don't know what it is, but they need to figure out exactly how they want to play. How do you want to play? Like, what is your scheme here? How are you playing? They're not necessarily going inside out. Sometimes a lot of their shots are just perimeter and bad shots, terrible shots. There were so many terrible shots in that game, in the series, and that's how Memphis comes back because of all the bad shots you're taking. Just throwing it up. There was one shot late in Game 6. Cat took deep perimeter. There's a whole bunch of time left on the clock. I'm like, man, you can't get a better shot.
Early in the shot clock.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, you're trying to let them come back. They just need experience. I'm glad they got some experience in the playoffs. So I can't say the season was a failure at all if you're a Timberwolves fan. But Pat Beverly too, doing all this talking and missing the corner 3 wide open. Just don't talk, man. Let your action show up for you. Like, they had plenty of opportunities to win the series. Like to get some. I'm serious. The Wolves had a chance to win this series.
I mean, honestly, Memphis is good, but the Timberwolves beat themselves.
They did.
They made the mental mistakes, and it's partially being young, but also acting like they haven't been there, which they haven't. But what I'm trying to say is that even if you are a regular playoff team, you don't get there. You don't get there and act like you've been there before. You know what I mean? You don't get there and act like, oh, we here now. Like New York stand up. You know what I mean? Like last year with the Knicks and this year, they just suck. But you got to take the mindset of, oh, we got to come out here and play our hardest. I feel like I said, they just mentally checked out and they're like, oh, we up, we good. Oh, we made the playoffs. Oh, let's celebrate. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with celebrating. At the same time, don't forget why you got here. Don't forget what you did to get here. And I feel like the mental aspect of it isn't there yet, but they'll get there. And 2, like you said, they don't have a clue of what they're doing on offense, really, because it's like, all right, D'Angelo get the ball. Let's run a couple picks with Vanderbilt. Up nothing. All right, I'm going to get all the Cat. He's going to hold the ball. He's going to try to drive. He's going to pass it back out. Oh, Ant's going to dance, ISO, get a step back jumper, side jumper, whatever. And it's like, all right, these guys are talented, but they could be better if they just figure out what is the offense here. What are we doing? We're going 4-1. We're doing floppy flex, but what's the setup? Because otherwise they're just out there.
Yeah, and a lot of times just feel a lot of times just feels like they are just out there doing whatever. So I don't know, is that on the coach? And then sometimes coaches try to enforce things, and sometimes it's on the players for like trying to enforce it. But I got to give some blame to the coach as well. If you see your team messing up, call a timeout. If you see this other team making a big run that the Grizzlies did, call a timeout, kill the momentum, and get your team back into place. Like some of this does fall on him. He called some good plays out of timeout though. I'll give him that. He called some good plays out of timeout sometimes. In Game 6 he did for sure. But otherwise, I wonder if coaching is an issue. I don't know, but I give him props for getting to this position to even be in the playoffs. I give them props for that. It's just, they really beat themselves. I've never seen a team do this to themselves. They're up. They lose they lost every fourth quarter in this series. It makes no sense to have this lead and to lose it. And it's all because of them. Their bad shot taking and the turnovers. And man, but overall, they have potential to be a lot better. Karl-Anthony Towns in year 7. I think he's about to go to year 8. I think we all expected Cat to be in a different place by now. He should be an all-star center every year. He should have been like an all NBA talent by now. Because he had that potential. He still has that potential to me. He does. But you have a guy who has a good inside game, and I agree with you. He should do a little bit more on the post and on the block. He's clearly one of the better shooters as a big man.
Yeah.
But don't rely on that. Joel Embiid, a couple seasons ago, he kept doing that too. He kept preferring to face up. But this year, he was an MVP candidate because he was dominant both inside and out.
Yeah.
Cat needs to do that now, to be a little bit more dominant on the inside, and don't talk. Let your game do the talking for you. And because of you talking, you got Ja talking, and you see the tweet Ja put out after they won. It was like a bear. It was like a grizzly chasing down a wolf. Like, come on. I was like, he had that ready. He had to have that ready.
NBA Twitter is elite because these dudes. It's like, years ago, like maybe even like early 2010s, it wasn't like this. It was like, we were seeing KD with the burner accounts early on. It was like, right. But now everyone's on Twitter. Like, you see Chris Paul after the game, Devin Booker, all these dudes. Like, Ja Morant, follow him on Twitter. Like, that dude, he keeps, like, for real, he keeps all the receipts.
He does.
Everything. He's ready to, like, reply to everything. He purposely held stuff back just so he could post after they won the series. Like that, right. A level of petty.
In the post-game talk as well, he's not afraid to talk about it either. Like,
that's like they run up the chimney. They went up the chimney. They went up the chimney. I'm like, man, this is a different era, bro. It's funny. I love watching all this stuff, man. It's entertaining.
And hopefully that's how we get some rivalries back here in the NBA, man. Just keep. I love it honestly, but don't do the talking after you win one game doing all that talking.
And they gotta come live. We're in Minnesota now.
And you lost at home, so
in your house.
And they were good most of that game. I was very impressed with the Wolves for most of the game, and it was like, oh, here we go. Bad shots after bad shot. And Anthony Edwards, I will say this, he did put the onus on him. Like you said, Cat was having a great game, then Ant comes back in and just shooting and missing. He put the blame on himself for not passing. And
it's a young player's mistake because
young player's mistake.
I feel like with him especially, he has that type of confidence where he's like, oh, I'm the best in the world. He thinks that to himself, type dude. And he can do it. It's just that, the best player in the world doesn't have to take every single shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Especially when, you're learning and you got another guy that's got it going. He's all-star.
Yeah, remember he had a lapse on defense too in Game 5 where how Ja got that almost uncontested layup. It was a very late contest, but he tried to steal the ball on the inbound. No, I saw that. I was like, no, stay in front, and that's just a young mistake.
It's young mistake.
Young mistake. That's all you have to chalk that up to. I was like, man, why would you try that? I was let your man wide open for the inbound play and just stay in front. Ja's not the best shooter. Stay in front. But man, yeah. So, it's tough. Hopefully, Timberwolves will come back and